Like many others, I love video games. They've always been a big part of my life. Growing up, my childhood wasn't exactly the best. There's memories that I wish I could forget, and I had a hard time fitting in often, something that I would struggle with and continue to struggle with to this day. My family wasn't around much, so naturally I was a very lonely kid, and I felt myself being bored and aimless often. That's where video games came in. Video games would transport me to a better world. Worlds full of adventure, excitement, and pure fun and joy. Something I couldn't find in this one. Of course, it wasn't real, but the feelings were valid. Like that, I became obsessed. For years, consistently, almost every day, I would play video games. It was just my thing. Instead of spending time in the real world, making endearing memories, lasting friendships, and going out and just experiencing life, I would spend time in virtual worlds, sitting in front of a screen, playing for way longer than I should have. After years of this, I had become a worse person for it. I was 19 years old, and I was very lonely. I had dropped out of college. I wasn't working. I was a loser. I had no friends. I had never had a girlfriend. And I didn't have nearly as good memories as other people my age who were out there experiencing life. I'd spent my whole life elsewhere, and I had nothing to show for it. Heartbroken and bitter, I decided to start changing. I started working. Then I went back to school. I started going out. I started going and experiencing our world and trying to make up for all the things I had missed. In that process, I completely stopped playing video games. It wasn't immediate, but surely and slowly, I stopped playing video games. So what was next? Well, I'd be lying if I told you that everything became better and getting rid of video games was the solution. Truth was, it was all still a struggle. It was hard to find my way or to settle in this world. I'd constantly be disappointed, and now I didn't really have any outlet except for obsessively listening to music. I was still lonely and depressed. I was seeking something or somewhere to help me. I was still just as bad as before. I was still struggling. So I took my Nintendo 64, the only console I had left, and I started playing my favorite childhood games. And wow, what a great feeling it was. It took me right back to the best moments I'd had. Soon I started playing many of my old favorite games, and then I started playing new releases, and I'd play games online with friends, and we'd have a blast, and soon I found that video games were seriously helping me. Games transmitted such a positive feeling to me, but of course I couldn't become obsessed again. It wasn't going to be my whole life. But games were also a really nice part of the day. So, I started playing video games again, just not as obsessively as that lonely kid from years ago. It wasn't my whole life. It was just a part of it. Video games can be a place of such good, and I'd be lying if I said otherwise. So yeah, I'm playing video games again, and they're nice, but of course, I can't forget the best game there is. The most important one that we all have to try our hardest in, the one we're all playing. Life.